What's going on, guys? My name is Lost and welcome back to another Kingdom Hearts Cross video. So, JP got the buff cap this morning, which has been increased to 15 when it comes to buffs and debuffs, and with that, of course, our Keyblade setups have completely changed, and we're going to be going back in time to the old ways where we used to have our buffer setups before we got to our damage dealing medals. So this video is going to kind of give you guys some tips and some hints on to how you can set up your Keyblades when it comes to, say, PvP, Coliseum, and raid bosses. Now, before I continue, of course, not everyone is going to have every single medal that I do have, because, I mean, obviously everybody knows me in the community as being one of the whales for the JP version, at least, or just the KHUx community. So I'm just letting you guys know right now that you don't have to copy exactly what it is that I'm doing, but more to kind of give you guys an idea as to how you can manage your setups. So we're gonna look first at the PvP Keyblade, which is Dark Knight, Stalk of Midnight, and Lady Luck. Let's go ahead and talk about my Stalk of Midnight. Now, my Stalk of Midnight, I have not actually changed my setups at all. Reason why is because I don't want to sacrifice that DB6 that I have on my Keyblade setup. But at the same time, though, the only downfall with this Keyblade setup is that I'm not going to be getting that plus 15 general strength up. Everything else is going to be maxed out because I'm going to have my stained glass tail, which is going to bring everything up to 7, and then of course the debuffs to 7 as well. And then after that, I'm going to have my Riku medal, my Riku vs. Roxas medal, which is going to be covering other buffs. And the good thing about that medal is that it does not have the override ability. Now, the override ability is going to kill setups right now. And because of that, like I said earlier in the video, we're going to be going back in time a little bit because we're going to have to change our setups completely when it comes to getting the buffers up at max. Now, only reason why you would have to do this is for two reasons. One is because right now we don't have the new buffer, which obviously is going to be Kairi or Xion. Those two medals, or maybe at least one of them, most likely might be coming out. Actually, no, I'm taking a guess right now. Kairi, our new Kairi buffer medal probably might come out tomorrow for JP's monthly reset. When it comes to Xion, it will probably come at a later date, but most likely they're waiting until a monthly reset for us to get, for us to pull for the new buffy medal. Now, the other reason that I mentioned was that if you don't get that new buffer, depending on what it does, because everybody is already assuming that it's gonna do like plus 15 everything and minus 15 to the enemies. But in case that doesn't happen, or if you don't pull on that medal, I'm gonna be showing you guys ways to try to get your buffs in, so that way all of the medals on the 4th, 5th pet slot, and then your friend medal, depending on, if you're doing PvP, raids, Coliseum, will have the maximum amount of buffs and debuffs on the enemy. Now, again, take example for my PvP setup for my Stalk of Midnight, again, I am going to be sacrificing not having that plus 15 general strength, but everything else is going to be covered when it comes to like, say, like PSM, when it comes to the upright defense down, the upright attack up, etc., etc. So the only reason why I'm not changing it to, say, the setup that I'm going to be saying here in the next minute is because I don't want to waste skills, because it's pretty obvious that with a buff cap we usually do get new buffers. So one way to work around this, and again, we're kind of going back in time, let's go ahead and let's exit the PvP Keyblade menu. Let's go on to a regular Keyblade setup. Let's go ahead and we'll use Fairy Stars as an example. So we're going to take all of these medals out. Actually, we're going to keep those there because we're going to pretend that those are going to be our damage dealing medals. Now, the thing with our current buffers is the override ability. The override ability kills us because even if you have extra attack, it's still gonna remain the same thing with plus 7, minus 7, etc., for whatever buffing method it is that we're using. And before I continue on, I want to give a shout out to KHUx Tracker for letting the community use their website to kind of give us a reference as to what more like details on how to make Keyblade setups, what kind of damage that it does, etc, etc. But I'm gonna be using some of the information from their website to kind of give you guys an idea as to how to set up Keyblade setups and whatnot. Now again, the override ability, it's what's gonna kill Keyblade setups until we get our new buffer. So take example Kairi, override ability, all straight down. The only thing that really will help us out would be the plus 80% guild increase to your medals after Kairi is used. Now with that, if you do have Kairi, that's perfectly fine. You make sure that you have her in the first Keyblade setup, which I'm gonna be showing you guys right now. If I can find that bad girl real quick. Let's see. So we're gonna have her there, and then automatically, bam, we have our normal buffs that we had before the buff increase. Then after that, the next buffers that you could use, let's go back onto KHUx Tracker real quick, is going to be illustrated Kairi EX or Xion, or illustrated Xion EX. Why? Because they don't have that override ability. So here's the little bit of an issue that I'm a little bit concerned about, because it takes up slots, because we are so used to having our buffs and our debuffs early hand, and then after that, after the first metal slot, everything is pretty much pure damage from there on. So in this setup that I'm going to show you guys on the Keyblade right now, you're going to see that I put my illustrated Kairi EX on the second slot. Why? Because I want to keep increasing the buffs that I already have when I first use Kairi EX Kai. So that way, after the plus 7s and the minus 7s go up, we do have illustrated Kairi EX Kai, and she adds that extra 7 general strength up, that extra PSM attack up, and then of course with the upright buffs, if you have it at 7 stars, if you don't have it at 7 stars, that's fine. But if at the 6 stars, you get that plus 2 upright attack up. 7 stars, I believe it is at a 5 if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. And then of course the debuffs that she does, which is the general defense down, the PSM defense down, etc, etc. Now after that, the only other thing you would have to worry about is if you don't have it fully maxed out just yet, you would have to use the copy medals. It doesn't have to be any copy medal, it doesn't have to have extra attack, but that way you'll be able to have the maximum amount of debuffs when it comes to PSM and then general defense. Now after that, when it comes to your attacking medals, most attacking medals now, they have those debuffs and those buffs when it comes to upright and reverse. So let's take example, let's have my Xion there, right? And I apologize if you hear any type of static or anything like that coming from the game. I'm actually casting right now instead of using the Nox emulator that I usually use, but I believe the most recent update kind of like messed up and it's not allowing me to play it at the moment. So hopefully they'll take care of that. But yeah, so we got our general defense, we got our PSM taken care of within the first 3 slots. Now you technically can buff yourself up if per se you had the stained glass medals, because the stained glass medals do help, but that's only if you focus on, like, say, one specific attribute. When it comes to everything else, it's kind of it's kind of a different story. So let me find this image real quick. Now take example, if you have Kairi EX Kai, right, and then you put a stained glass medal. Let's find the stained glass medal that I had, which I probably don't. I don't have it a 7-star for sure. Let's see, where you at? There we go. Aha, there we go. Bam. So we have the other stained glass medal. The other stained glass medal, take example this stained glass, it'll pretty much double up on almost all of the buffs and debuffs, so you can use that as well as an example. And again, if you have extra attack on the stained glass, if you have extra attack on illustrated Kairi or Xion EX, you're golden, because that way you'll have that extra slot to be able to put in a damaging or an attacking medal, which is a good thing because that's what you want. So if you have extra attack on it, you're golden, because you'll be able to do more damage against raid bosses, against Coliseum enemies, and then of course PvP. PvP is the most important because you want to do the more damage. The more damage will equal for you to increase your chances of winning that fight. So we're gonna leave it at like that. And then of course, again, with the stained glass I believe does actually cover the upright and then the defense. Yes, it does. So if you do have stained glass medals, it does actually cover that part out when it comes to the upright the upright attack up and the upright defense down on the enemies. But if say you don't have the stained glass medals, the old stained glass medals, I'm not talking about the current or the latest ones, which I believe was, I think it was 6, 7, no wait, 7, 8, and 9 I believe are the latest ones that we got. Those stained glass medals, which I'm actually going to show you guys on the KHUx tracker right now, sadly they're not going to help you too much. They'll help you out a little bit, but you will still need illustrated Kairi and Shion EX Kai. Now with the stained glass medals, let's take example stained glass number 7, which is Terra. Override ability. If it did not have the override ability, this medal, if you had extra attack, including the other two stained glass, which is numbers 8 and 9, you would be golden, because you would have, if you are focusing on just one attribute, like say if you're focusing on Fenrir, if you have Terra, the stained glass Terra on the Fenrir Keyblade, you wouldn't have to worry about any other buffing medals, because you have everything on that one Keyblade side. But sadly, it has the override ability, so it kind of kills you, and you pretty much have to do the setup that I mentioned earlier. So that kind of sucks about it. That's why you pretty much have to have, at least as of right now, until we get our new buffing medals, you have to have Kairi EX Kai, and then you have to have illustrated Kairi or Shion EX or the stained glass medals to be able to get those extra buffs in. Aside from that though, the thing that I wanted to show you guys earlier is that if you did not have the old stained glass medals, what you could do is to cover the upright attack and the upright defense down, and then of course the same goes for the reverse and the reverse attack and what you call it, the reverse attack, and then of course the debuffs, the reverse debuffs on the enemy. Is of course, let's take example Riku. It covers the upright attack up and the upright defense down on the enemies, so that way, if say like on Fairy Stars you're copying with Shion, bam, you have that covered, and then you can do the max amount of damage. So it's setups like that to kind of give you an example as to how you could make your Keyblade setups when it comes to raiding, when it comes to Coliseum, when it comes to PvP. And I know it's a big old mess right now with the buff cap increase, because we have to change our setups. We're gonna have to sacrifice skills. But I would say as of right now, since monthly reset is tomorrow, and I have a feeling that we should be getting, and this is a wild guess, that we should be getting our new buffing medal tomorrow. I would say wait it out, guys. Kind of take the hit when it comes to whatever it is that you're trying to do, unless of course you are trying to get through Coliseum to get the best ranking, because I know right now there is a good skill, which I believe is SP gauge 2 or maybe 0, and then attack boost 8. I might be wrong on that, but you know, when it comes to that though, I mean, that's a whole different story. But if you can wait it out until we see that tweet tomorrow morning, at least for my JP players, to see what's coming out, if we are actually getting the buffer, then hey, you know, you didn't have to sacrifice any skills, you didn't have to change your setups or anything like that. So again, guys, I know that not everybody is going to have every single buffing medal that you just seen in this video, but this is an example of what you could do. If you guys have any examples of setups, make sure to put it in the comment section below. If there's anything that I missed, also make sure to put that in the comment section below, because it's not just for me, for myself to read, but it's going to help out other players, so that way they can be like, oh, I have that medal, I can probably work around if I do this or that or whatever. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. I know that this video is a little bit long, but there was a lot to explain when it came to how to set up your Keyblades, at least for now, or at least if you do get the new buffing medal, and if you don't get it, you will still have your previous buffing medals to try to cover that up until, say, the banner returns, or until you actually do pull the medal. But anyway, so guys, that's gonna be it for the video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for some more Future Cuz content. And again, if I miss anything, or if you want to share your setups, some example setups, make sure to put them down in the comment section below. I'm done talking. My throat is dry. I'm out of here, guys. Take care, have a good night, and I will see you guys next time.